Flossy the Cockroach and the Great Impulsive Adventure. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Once upon a time, in a cosy little nook behind the refrigerator in a warm and bustling kitchen, there lived a cockroach named Flossy. Flossy the Cockroach was no ordinary cockroach. While her friends loved scurrying through crumbs, exploring dusty corners, and playing hide-and-seek in the shadows, Flossy the Cockroach was different. She was obsessed with cleanliness. Her tiny home was spotless, with every pebble polished, every crumb neatly arranged, and even her collection of shiny bottle caps organised by size and colour. She spent her days sweeping her nook with a feather she found, and humming cheerful tunes as she worked. Flossy the Cockroach's friends, a lively bunch of cockroaches named Max, Bella and Ziggy, often teased her. "Why are you so tidy, Flossy the Cockroach?" Max would ask, his antennae twitching with curiosity. "Life's too short to clean all the time," Bella would add, flipping a crumb into the air with her leg. But Flossy the Cockroach just smiled and said, "A clean home is a happy home. Besides, doesn't it feel nice when everything is in its place?" Still, Flossy the Cockroach had one little problem. She was very impulsive. Whenever she got an idea, she couldn't wait to act on it, no matter how big, messy, or risky the task might be. And one sunny morning, Flossy the Cockroach woke up with the most brilliant idea she'd ever had. "I'm going to clean the entire kitchen," she declared, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Her friends gasped. "The whole kitchen?" Ziggy exclaimed. "But it's enormous, and what about the humans? They'll see you." "Flossy," the cockroach waved her antennae dismissively. "I'll be quick and careful. Besides, it's for the greater good. Just imagine how wonderful the kitchen will look when it's sparkling clean." Before her friends could stop her, Flossy the Cockroach grabbed her trusty feather and scurried out of her nook, her tiny legs carrying her into the vast expanse of the kitchen. The humans had just finished breakfast, and the counters were littered with crumbs, sticky jam, and a few stray cereal pieces. Flossy, the cockroach's heart leapt with joy. "So much to clean," she squealed. She started with the countertops, pushing crumbs into neat little piles. She dusted the toaster with her feather, making it shine like new. She even tried to wipe the sticky jam jar with a drop of water she found on the counter. But then she noticed the sink. It was full of dishes, and a single soap bubble floated invitingly in the air. "Ooh, bubbles!" Flossy the cockroach squealed, her impulsive nature taking over. She couldn't resist. She climbed onto the edge of the sink and jumped onto the bubble. It carried her high into the air, and she giggled with delight as she floated above the kitchen. "This is amazing," she cried. But when the bubble popped, she landed right in a bowl of leftover cereal. Milk splashed everywhere, and Flossy the cockroach found herself covered in sticky, sweet droplets. "Oops," she said, wiping milk off her antennae. "Well, while I'm here, I might as well clean this bowl." Flossy the cockroach scrubbed the bowl until it sparkled, using a tiny piece of sponge she found nearby. But then she noticed the cereal box on the counter. It was slightly open, and a few pieces of cereal had spilled out. "I can't leave this mess," she said, and before she knew it, she was inside the box, organising the cereal into perfect rows. She hummed as she worked, arranging the loops and squares by size and colour. Just as she finished, she heard a loud creak. The humans were coming. Flossy the cockroach's heart raced. She had to get back to her nook, but the cereal box was too high to jump from. Thinking quickly, she grabbed a piece of cereal and used it as a slide, tumbling safely onto the counter. Then she spotted a trail of breadcrumbs leading back to her home. "Perfect," she said, following the trail as fast as her tiny legs could carry her. As she scurried across the counter, she noticed a sticky spot of syrup near the toaster. "I can't leave that there," she muttered, stopping to wipe it up with a scrap of paper towel. "Flossy the cockroach, focus!" she scolded herself, shaking her head. She had to get home before the humans saw her. Finally, Flossy the cockroach made it back to her nook, panting and covered in milk, cereal crumbs and a bit of syrup. Her friends were waiting for her, their eyes wide with worry. "Flossy the cockroach, you're a mess," Bella said, pointing to Flossy the cockroach's sticky legs and crumb-covered back. Flossy the cockroach looked at herself and laughed. "I guess I got a little carried away," she admitted, but the kitchen looks much better now. Her friends shook their heads, smiling. You're the most impulsive cockroach we know, Flossy the cockroach, Max said. But we love you anyway. From that day on, Flossy the cockroach decided to focus on cleaning her own little nook, at least most of the time. But every now and then, when she saw a soap bubble or a messy counter, she couldn't help but dive in. After all, a tidy world was a happy world, and Flossy the cockroach was determined to do her part, one impulsive adventure at a time. And so, Flossy the cockroach continued to live her life with passion and purpose, bringing cleanliness and joy wherever she went. And though her friends still teased her, they couldn't help but admire her boundless energy and big heart. After all, the kitchen had never been cleaner, and that was all thanks to Flossy the cockroach. The end.